Alright, them say trouble not set like rain. Listen up, puss and dog don't have the same luck. Where you try, you might get away with, and I try it, and them sink me and fry me. You know, say I just got the notification that says Vybz Kartel is no longer in the UK. He is back in Miami, Florida. Now, if you know like I know, you know say Vybz Kartel good with the DJ named Squash. Yes? G6. Six Boss. Gaza. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, damn, I can't wait for Best of the Best concert at Bicentennial Park. Be a niceness I go on, you know. Them ask me, who would you like to see run out on stage? Me say Vybz Kartel and Squash, because they are in the same place. So if Kartel could make it back in time, if he is not obligated to be other places around the world doing things, would definitely love to see him perform there in Miami in person. That would be dope. And to see Squash, because Squash has quite a few banger songs with Vybz Kartel. Soon as I saw that notification that says Kartel is back in the US in Miami, I said, bam! And next piece of news broke that says dancehall entertainer Squash was arrested for gun possession in Miami. I said, oh no, I only hope Kartel was not in his company when all this went down. You don't know, a friend and friend, or man and man, you know, a brethren and brethren link up on them kind of thing there. I don't know nothing about the man them relationship, and I'm not trying to put the world boss in any thing that he might bring him any trouble. I'm just saying that's the first thing I thought. I hope it wasn't one of them situations there. And of course it was not. So we just clear that up from now. So if you see it out there, you already know. Nothing to go so, right? Kartel is back in the US, yes, and Squash is in trouble somewhat. Let's get into the Squash details without the Vybz Kartel details now. Me still want to see Vybz Kartel at Best of the Best in Miami. Hopefully it works out that way. If not, I'll be back in Jamaica December for another round of Freedom Street. Alright, let's go with the Squash thing now. Dancehall entertainer Squash is now facing added scrutiny of his legal status in the United States after he was held on gun-related charges in Miami, Florida. Now, first place may I take this from is Nationwide Radio JM, but here's the thing. I went and did my own research too, so this is going to be a pretty lengthy video because I'm going to hit this one from all angles, right? Pay attention. Squash, very prominent dancehall artist, was arrested in Miami, Florida around 3:22 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Boy, them time that me in my bed, you know, or in my house, you know, my grandmother said, nothing out the road good, them time there. Either girl where sell crutches or gunman. Anyhow, it could be artist hours too. According to arrest reports, the artist has been charged with possession of a firearm and carrying a concealed firearm without a permit. Stick a pin, because we're going to get into that. You see the part where it says he was charged with possession of a firearm and carrying a concealed firearm without a permit? That's kind of doozy. Now, as of July 1st, and you can go and look this up, as of July 1st of 2023, Florida residents were given the right to carry a concealed weapon without a permit, without a license to have that concealed weapon. At the time it was done, everybody was saying, oh my God, this is not good. Because everybody in Florida is now packing a gun under their clothes and legally have the right to do so as of July 1st, 2023. However, this is as long as you meet certain requirements. This is known as a permitless concealed carry. I walk you through it now. The requirements are that you be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. That means you already have been issued a green card. Last time I checked, we're going to talk about this as it pertains to Squash. The next thing is that you must be at least 21 years of age, and then you must have a government ID issued to you as well. And then you must not have a felony conviction or other prior convictions that prohibit you from possessing a firearm. That means that if you have domestic battery charges and these kind of things, and you've been convicted in a court of law, drug smuggling or anything else like that, you shouldn't have a weapon. If them catch you with one, then you could be it is then illegal for you to carry one. But notice the part where it says you must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. All right, let's get back to squash situation now. U.S. citizen or permanent resident is the requirement. Squash has been charged with possession of a firearm and carrying a concealed firearm without a permit. Why would they charge him for carrying a concealed firearm without a permit when the law in Florida says you can carry a concealed firearm without a permit? It's called a permitless concealed carry. And that law has been in effect since July of 2023. Maybe because he is neither a citizen or a permanent resident, which brings up what is his status? What is his immigration status? According to the report, Squash was charged with being in possession of a short barrel shotgun, a rifle, and a machine gun. The way how Radio Nation, our nationwide Radio JM worded it is different from how it's worded from the actual arrest record. I found the actual arrest record and I will read it back to you, but it's close, right? JM nationwide Radio JM says that he was found in possession of a short-barreled shotgun, a rifle, or a machine gun. The details of his arrest have not yet been ascertained. However, the 32-year-old could face the prospect of being deported back to Jamaica because authorities in Florida have now placed him on what is called a immigration hold. All right. A lot of you might not know what an immigration hold is and how that works out. An immigration hold goes like this. So, if you are arrested and you are placed on an immigration hold, you may be detained by local law enforcement while Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, takes custody of you. This is also known as an immigration detainer. That's how them have Squash Pan right now. It says it on his arrest record. Why is this done? To give you a broader understanding, ICE wants to take custody of you for possible deportation. That's one. Two, you may be undocumented or you may be unlawfully present in the U.S. Three, you may have committed a crime that makes you deportable. Four, you may have a prior or a pending order of removal. Prior or pending order of removal. Remember, I just said to you guys that people have been going to their appointments. See, under the Biden era, right, there were people who came into the country legally. They might have came in on a work permit and overstayed their welcome. They might have even crossed the borders and then applied for asylum status, etc. Either way, they were given like a time to report. So they would tell you, so report the 1st and the 15th to this particular place. In the meantime, while we wait for your case to be called up, I told y'all that recently they started removing people from the country who were showing up for their appointments. So, to put it lightly, Donald Trump is not playing around right now, and everybody and anybody can get it. First, he said he wants to remove gangsters, gangbangers, gang affiliated individuals. Then he wants to remove all those with criminal records, child molesters, those kind of people out of the country. And everybody thought that's what he was going to do, just go after the high-end criminals who actually have a record and have been convicted, or those who have a removal order already issued from a immigration judge saying remove them from the country. That's not true. Him start going after just everybody and anybody. Even people who had their cases settled long time ago and were chilling, they're getting taken in too. And they're being deported too. So does it look good for Squash right now? No, this don't look good. So what could you expect next if you are held on a immigration hold? Local law enforcement will hold you for up to 48 hours past your scheduled release date. If ICE does not pick you up within 48 hours, then you must be released. Remember, I know, they haven't set any time for Squash yet according to his paperwork. They haven't set any time for him to be released yet. Once that time is set for him to be released, the jail where he's being held at can only hold him for 48 more hours past that time. In those 48 hours, ICE have to get there to that jail and take custody of him. If ICE ain't there, they can release him back into the public, right? In this kind of situation, the only person that can actually help you is a criminal defense lawyer with immigration knowledge who understands your particular immigration options. So a hold for immigration bond to be set, because that's what it says on his arrest papers. It says a hold for immigration bond to be set. That means that that person has to be placed under an immigration hold, also known as the immigration detainer, has to be placed under it. This means that the person will be held for 48 hours after their scheduled release from the jail. So even if he posts bond, say for the city of Miami, they're still going to hold him there for another 48 hours to see if immigration is going to come get him. This extra time usually allows Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to decide if they want to actually take the person into custody for deportation or not. Why does this happen? ICE can request an immigration hold if they suspect that the individual is undocumented. That's one. ICE can hold. ICE hold can even happen if a court has not convicted an individual of any crime. It can still happen. And an accusation of a crime can often result in an ICE hold. Not a conviction, just an accusation. Right. What happens if ICE doesn't take this person into custody? Say he's there at the Miami jail and ICE don't take him into custody. If ICE doesn't show up within 48 hours after his release time, the local authorities have to release the person. What does this mean for that person? Or in this case, what would that mean for Squash? Well, an ICE hold does not automatically mean that deportation is coming next. So for the people them who are celebrate already and I say, yes, I'm going to get deported, we don't know yet. But I'm just letting you know that an ICE hold does not automatically mean that deportation is coming. Now, the person will be taken into immigration custody where a decision will be made about the person's status. And again, the only person that can help is an immigration bondsman who can guide you through the immigration whole process, or a immigration attorney who understands your immigration choices. Now, with that said, you have to look at the climate under Donald Trump right now and how he's just pitching people out. If you are here, which I'm suspecting that he is here in the US, that Squash is here in the US under maybe trying to adjust his status, right? And if he's here trying to adjust his status legally, and he was one of the people who was given a date to report for check-in, or also given time to wait, so are waiting on his case to be called up. This is not how you want to be caught up. You don't want the local police to catch you with guns. You don't have the right to have these guns because you are not a green card holder, which is a permanent resident, and you are not a citizen. Therefore, you having possession of the gun is illegal. Again, if you are in the US and you are waiting for your status to clear up, you don't have a green card in your hand yet, and you're definitely not a citizen, then in possession of a gun is not the way you want to be caught, because you having that gun is illegal. Right. Now, a warrant case, it says that's a warrant case, and a warrant case may be set for a hearing or a trial when the court schedules it. This is usually done by making a note in the court schedule called a dock entry. As far as this situation goes with Mr. Andre Maurice Whitaker, otherwise known as Squash, that's his given name. This ain't the first time, right? This is not the first time. This is not the first run-in. And if these authorities in the US start actually digging and looking, and then they pull up who he's associated with, like the whole J-Man situation with the double murder, etc., and what the know about that. All right, so according to the reports, Squash was charged with being in possession of these weapons, right? However, the 32-year-old could face deportation back to Jamaica, being placed on an immigration hold in the meantime, where immigration authorities will determine if they want to take him into custody or if they just want to let him go. Reports are that Squash faced similar scrutiny back in 2023 when he was detained in Miami after allegedly overstaying his work visa. A lot of people were under the impression that he came into the US illegally. He actually came in on a work visa, and he performed here at an event, and then he stayed and did not return to Jamaica. Right. So with that said, you know, people have their suspicions of Squash. People have always accused him of being in a gang and being a gang leader, a member of G City gang, you know, and all these other things. His name ring bells on murder and all these other things. These are things that are going to get to the ears of these immigration officials. Now, if y'all remember Jareem Shelton, otherwise called J-Man, J-Man was charged with a double murder. The records indicate that J-Man or Shelton, his next court date hearing is actually April 4th of 2025. And according to court records, an informant who is working with U.S. authorities actually told U.S. authorities that a member of the G City gang, Squash is a member of the G City gang. This is what the informant told them, that Squash is a member of a gang called the G City gang. The informant also told authorities in the U.S. that the G City gang were at odds with another gang called the Bad Breed gang, and told them also that the conflict originated in Salt Spring, St. James, with the alleged leaders being Fredman for G-City and Marvin Brown, otherwise called Ramos. And he told them that he is based in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, the authorities here, they go looking. They go looking. They even go asking. They even contact the people in Jamaica, law enforcement in Jamaica. So they're going to contact law enforcement to find out who Squash is. Is he wanted for anything in Jamaica? Are you guys looking for him? Is he on a wanted list? Etc., etc. What is the background of this individual? What do y'all have on him from Jamaica? Is he known to be associated with any gang activities? If their information they get from Jamaica matches up with the information that the informant gave them here in the States, some of which they have made public already, this is how I'm able to read this to you, then they could very well make the decision to deport him back to Jamaica, right? We don't know if they are going to or if they're not. If they don't or if they do, that's yet to be seen. At the moment, looking at this information right here, I'll give you a piece of this. Dancehall artist Squash detained by ICE in Florida. And this was back from 2023. Shout out to Dancehall Mag. When it said that Squash was detained by ICE. Online records from the agency had revealed that on May 22nd of 2023, Squash was picked up and held at the Chrome North Service Processing Center, which is an ICE detention facility in Miami. And he made it up out of there, right? Now, Squash them money long, Squash them have a whole heap of money and them have connections. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him not be deported. I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually fight a case and beat it and come back a road again. It also comes, at the time of his arrest, it's just a sticky time now to be getting caught up in anything, because again, Donald Trump is not playing. Donald Trump actually recently fired some people who he himself hired to run this whole immigration mass deportation thing, because they're not deporting enough people for his liking. So you don't want to get caught up right now. Now, as far as this information going back then says, in August of 2018, Squash was detained under state of emergency in a sweep that they did in St. James due to increased crime and violence in that parish. And he spent 5 months in custody with no charges before he was released in January of 2019. One day before the state of emergency was due to expire is when they actually released him. Kind of seemed like a vindictive thing to do, right? Because they had nothing to hold him on. So them just hold him for as long as the state of emergency was and release him the day before they expired the state of emergency. Anyways, he took that one on the chin. And then he left Jamaica, got legal papers, and came to the US for a performance as a working artist. He stayed in the US. He came his first time, September of 2019, and he ended up staying. Speaking with Onstage, Mr. Winford Williams back in Florida last July or of that year, Squash expressed his love for Jamaica, but he also spoke out about the discomfort within the system. He spoke out about the level of corruption. He said, "Me can't take the whole dung thing in a Jamaica, brother, and the corruption in a my little circle. Jamaica small, bad, The world big, and Jamaica have too much corruption in a one little environment, and me can't deal with it." That was his take back then, right? So he was doing good. He was even telling people that stop associating me with crime and violence. Music alone is what I do. Leave me name, leg on my shirt, leave me name out of certain things. Leave me and let me live, yo. In November of 2022, an associate of Squash, Jareem J-Man Shelton, he was slapped with 2 charges of first-degree murder in the United States. Jareem Shelton is a Jamaican national citizen who entered the country of the United States of America illegally, but is on parole status until he sees a judge about his immigration status in the country. Well, check it. Him enter the country illegally, but obviously ended up filing for asylum or the right to stay here. He's one of the people who was given that protective TPS, it's called, temporary protective status. And you hold that down and you report every 1st and 15th or however many times per month them tell you to report until your date is called for your case to be heard. Now, in the process of him going through that, him end up catch a double murder charge. And with that double murder charge, Squash is also associated with him. And when Phoebe name a call, Squash name a call, and pictures surface with Squash in his company, and then informants telling U.S. authorities that they are all gangsters from the same gang, etc., etc. Shelton, who catch the double murder charge, is actually known as a principal of the Bushead gang. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with Bushead, the TikToker who recently lost his life and was buried. They recently had his funeral. Me no know the connection them, cause I'm not into badman, gunman business or any other people business like that. Really, I just bring the information once it's made public, but I don't dig and pry and try to find out. So the Jamaica Gleaner had reported that on May 26th of 2022, J-Man or Shelton was one of 2 persons who survived a drive-by shooting in Jamaica at a birthday party along Marl Road. However, 3 people, including his J-Man's girlfriend, which is Tony Ann Reed, aka Two Fly, of Jarrett Terrace, died in that attack. And in June of 2022, dancehall producer Linval Thompson Jr., otherwise known as Shabdan, was reported as one of the 2 persons charged in relation to this same drive-by shooting, which would make us see or think now that Squash and Shabdan them, or J-Man, an associate of Squash and Shabdan them, are at war or wits ends, and probably that's why J-Man flee Jamaica and crossed the border over into the US illegally and had every intentions of staying here. I don't know. Now, meanwhile, according to J-Man's arrest affidavit, more arrests were supposed to be coming. An anonymous tip, this is the informant, stated that the double murder was gang related and that the men, listen what he told the US authorities, men with the aliases Squashman, J-Man, and Freeman, who called themselves the G-City Gang, were involved in that double murder. So them have people that work with them, But informant can't tell anything, and sometimes an informant is just saying stuff to get himself out of trouble too. So it's usually sometimes not even credible information. But as it goes, Squash has not been brought into custody for concerning that double murder that J-Man is on. However, now that he's been caught with these guns, and now that the immigration authorities' climate in the US is not friendly at all, he could have a very big problem moving forward because they are going to try to fry him right now. And the reason why they're going to try to fry him is because, listen, they're trying to remove just anybody at the moment, and you don't have to do too much to get removed, right? We'll stay close. I know Squash had said something the other day to the effect of even the vlogger them no, like they don't post when him put up good songs, music and all that, but them quick for post when time anything negative happens. And you know, a kind of true situation still. But, you know, I saw the thing go. The people them I look forward to see or hear what is popping off out the road. And these are one of the things that's popping off out the road. His booking date says from the arrest record, his jail number is right there, 250127117. Whitaker Andre Morris is his full name. His booking date is February 25th, 2025 at 3:22, 0322, that's 3:22 a.m. in the morning. His race is black. His sex is a male. His wife is a sex male, but his, you know, same is a man. His hair is black, his eye is black. He weighs 220 pounds. He is 5 feet 7 inches tall. IDS number 3619111115. And location is TGKCC, Correctional Facility. That means I'm in a Miami. That's the Turner, I think that's the Turner G. Knight Correctional Facility. Anyhow, case number is available. Standard bond. When I saw this earlier, there was no bond set for him. His standard bond has now been set at $3,000. However, there is, you know, if him can come up with a $3,000 quick fast, then boom, the moment starts now. Because once he pays that $3,000 to them, 48 hours more from now, once that is paid, is how long ICE has to get there to get him in their custody. If his bond is paid and he's there past 48 hours, they will have to release him from that jail. So it's a cat and mouse game is being played right now, right? And it also says that his bond has been submitted and already. So obviously, pay the bond, waiting out the game, see if ICE come get him from that facility, take him. On here, the official paperwork from the Miami-Dade website, it says that he was held with a short barrel shotgun, he was held with a rifle, and he was held with a machine gun. And he was charged, and they were all in his possession. And he was charged with concealed firearm carry. Bomber clot. When man I do with so much gun? I mean, even if push come to shove, you can only fire 2 at a time, and most likely 1 accurately. A short barrel shotgun, you not fire that and fire nothing else. The man have guns out the wazoo, my friend. So we have to go see how this turn out for Squash. Little more. That's the full info on what's going on. Stay tuned because we will be updating you as things change. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. And I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Please. Peace.